Hey you guys, it's Much Grace. Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about DeBarge, darkest moment in the industry and life, and how Motown Berry Gordy sold the company and how that impacted him and left him pretty much with nothing.
Motown was sold. I can tell you how it impacted me. I gotta write a book one day because there's a whole lot to say about that. So things were going great. My confidence was up. My fan base was growing. Then all of a sudden, I get a call from Mr. Gordy's assistant and said that Mr. Gordy was going to be on vacation for about a month. Nobody would be able to reach him. At the time, Motown was handling my money, and then I wasn't getting checks anymore. My money wasn't coming in. So I got a hold to one of the executives over at Motown, and they told me that Berry Gordy was going to sell Motown. So I said, well, what's happening with my money? How am I going to pay my bills? We said, well, can't answer that till Mr. Gordy gets back in town. He's out of the country for a vacation. I mean, you can pretty much imagine how that impacted me. All of a sudden, nothing. It was like no more albums, no more going to the studio, and then how am I gonna pay my bills? The whole 9 yards. So it was like, my mother used to always say, if you depend on man, whatever they give to you, they can take it away too. But it was, excuse me for a minute. Can you cut there for a minute, man?
Wow, this took me by surprise. Did it take you by surprise when he breaks down and starts, crying? Basically telling or reliving this story of what he went through, how Berry Gordy, Motown, they're off on vacation, and he's just left. He's left there with nothing. He can't pay his bills. He can't support himself financially. Wow. Didn't know that. Had not heard that before. Like I've heard interviews in the past where he talks about his publishing, but had not heard the details of what happened, when Motown was sold and how he couldn't support himself, really couldn't support himself, like was brought down to like nothing, really, the way he tells it. He didn't have anything. I wonder how he feels about Berry Gordy and Motown. Like, does he feel some type of way? You know, how they did him.
I would say my darkest moment from being in this industry was not being able to support myself financially because the hype went down. Motown was changing ownership. Berry Gordy was selling Motown to someone else, and everybody got dropped except for me and a few others. I think out of the few others, I was the only one that didn't have any money. It was like I went from riches to rags overnight. I remember having to sell everything that I had. I remember cars getting repossessed, getting locked out of my own place because I couldn't stay there anymore.
I think this particular story of El DeBarge, what he went through with Motown being sold and how just financially he didn't have anything because they left him, pretty much dry, was just a trust God moment in his life. Probably one of many where God was trying to show him that you have to put your faith and trust in me. And this was definitely one of those moments, especially like he said, he went from riches to rags overnight. So when something like that happens, God is really showing you have to trust me. Because he probably thought, oh, it's all good. It's all good with Berry Gordy, Motown. Oh, they'll take care of it. He probably never thought that they would do him that way. And he also, talks about owning his own publishing. I think he knows that now. So he really talks about that. Like, you got to own your own publishing. And he talks about, handling the business. He knows how to handle it now because he went through it the hard way about educating and, reading, asking questions. Because, like I said, he went through it the hard way, the worst way, without, really knowing and probably like just trusting people. I think that's his story right here. My opinion of it is he trusted people. He thought it was all good. He thought they had his best interest and they did not. He needs to be trusting God. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You give me yours in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.